Now on this special edition of 4 News Now, the Spokane City Council is taking up the issue of homeless camping at tonight's meeting. We'll show you the plan to get people off the streets of downtown.
And I've got a blustery forecast for you this evening and a big change for the first day of fall.
And we take a look tonight at pallet homes. Are they really the answer to the homeless crisis? How they work and how much it would cost to house everyone at Camp Hope. You're watching a special edition of 4 News Now. A new proposal to enforce illegal camping laws is now up for a vote. City Council members say it will help make Spokane safer.
They say it's to protect people from situations that can pose a threat to public health and safety. Peter Choi is in studio tonight. And Peter, tell us about this proposal.
Yeah, I talked to City of Spokane, City Council President Brianne Baggs, about his proposed ordinance on the city's existing camping code to align with the federal law. Meaning if this ordinance passes, people cannot use outdoor sheltering overnight on city-owned property. Now, City Council officials say this proposal is to give Spokane police officers authority under the federal law. The 9th Circuit ruling was brought up 2 years ago. The city cannot enforce an anti-camping ordinance if they don't have enough homeless shelters in the city. Now that the city is providing more shelter beds at the newly opened Trans Shelter. Now, City Council wants to update the current camping code.
So this ordinance, after many months, is just an update to make it enforceable under that federal decision. And so instead of having a blanket, you can't camp in this neighborhood or this area, it's based on the function.
Now, here are the updates on the proposal. If there is a camping situation that's dangerous to any person and unreasonable risk of harm to public health, the city can get the person to move. The city also prohibits camping 50 feet from any railroad viaduct and 3 blocks of any homeless shelter. Now, the vote on this proposal is scheduled tonight at 6, and we'll bring you the latest update on this vote as soon as it happens. In studio, Peter Choi, 4 News Now.
Peter, thank you. It's still beautiful weather in this, can you believe it, last week of summer? Although there is some rain this way, that's going to take us into the fall.
That's right. Meteorologist Matt Gray is with us tonight with your first alert forecast. And Matt, a lot of people outside enjoying these final days of fall, or before fall.
Fall, summer,
Feels like fall.
It's a little bit of an in-between time now anyway. It certainly has felt like fall over the past several days. We even got some clouds and some rain showers to wrap up the weekend. Last night in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. Pretty nice out right now. A little bit of hazy skies as you look over Spokane. 74 degrees in both the Lilac City and as you head up the highway to Coeur d'Alene at this hour. Pretty quiet on the radar, which was a bit of a difference from the last couple of evenings around the inland Northwest. We are going to get a little bit of a break, but as you mentioned, rain is on the way. It's going to take a little bit longer to get here, though, and so we have a couple of days to enjoy some beautiful conditions, and that includes tonight. If you say, I'm going to have a glass of wine out on the deck, beautiful conditions as we get our evening started here in just a little while. Now, normally we would be, or rather later in the week, we're going to be looking to the south for our active weather. But right now, our focus is actually to the north with some north winds that make things a little bit blustery in our forecast for tomorrow. We'll take you out through how to plan your day coming up.
Thank you, Matt. We got a breaking news tonight. A Baltimore man convicted for a 1999 murder that became the subject of a popular podcast serial is now out of prison. Adnan Syed walked out of court today after a judge ordered his conviction overturned. He was a teenager when he was found guilty of murdering his ex-girlfriend and sentenced to life. However, Syed's attorney presented some reliability issues to the state in 2021. Today, prosecutors say they're still investigating Syed and not dropping the case. Meanwhile, a new episode of Serial is dropping tomorrow following news of Syed's release.
A Riverside High School girl is dead after a crash involving 2 vehicles last week near Chattaroy. She was the passenger in a crash that happened at the intersection of Elk Chattaroy Road and Nelson Road. She and the driver, also a student at Riverside, were airlifted to the hospital following the crash. And late this afternoon, we got word from the sheriff's office that she died after several days fighting for her life in that hospital. A 26-year-old Athol, Idaho man was hit and killed by a train early this morning. Idaho State Police say the Amtrak train was headed to Sandpoint when the crash happened at the Granite Loop Road railway crossing just north of Athol. The railway was shut down for 2 hours as first responders investigated. It's estimated that 2,100 people are killed every year in the U.S. on train tracks. 55 people were killed last year in Washington. Cutting lanes to curb speeds. That's what's happening now on Sprague Avenue in Spokane Valley. The city says it's worried about people driving too fast in that area, so they're starting a pilot project and reducing lanes to see if it forces people to slow down.
They also want to improve pedestrian safety and create a new crosswalk near City Hall. Here's where it's happening. Sprague Avenue between University and Harold Roads is now down to 3 lanes. Traffic engineers say fewer lanes can still keep up with traffic needs. Esther Bauer is there live. And Esther, how's traffic moving?
Well, guys, things are moving pretty well right now. You can see traffic is moving great. Drivers do not seem too fazed by this change. Now, the goal of this project is to slow people down. It's something local business owners say can't come soon enough.
People are flying down the road.
Seeing dangerous drivers on Sprague is a daily occurrence for those who work nearby.
When people are traveling that fast and somebody goes the wrong way, it's not a pretty sight.
Travis Brown has watched multiple crashes from his interior design storefront, and traffic engineers want that to change.
When you open up from 3 lanes at Sprague University to 5 lanes on this side of University, there's just a whole lot more room, and people just tend to speed up.
The city says 60% of drivers are going faster than the speed limit. On any given day, over 120 people are clocking in over 50 miles per hour, and the posted speed limit is 35. Pedestrian safety also needs work. This project would create a blinking crosswalk near City Hall. The lane reduction would also help keep people who walk safe.
That makes it a much safer crosswalk, going from 5 lanes to 3 lanes, and so that gives pedestrians a much shorter time to cross.
Brown isn't worried about the traffic change affecting his business. Instead, he says it'll make it easier for people to pull into his lot.
It'll slow people down more and be easy to get through 3 lanes as opposed to 5.
It's the last days for his store, and he hopes high speeds are also coming to an end because of this lane reduction project. And your voice matters in this change. This is just a pilot program going through the end of October. The city wants to hear from you, drivers and commuters, before making this a permanent change. Head on over to KXLY.com to complete a short survey and see what else is in store with this project. Reporting live in Spokane Valley, Esther Bauer, 4 News Now.
Esther, thank you. Well, the perfect storm that hit SeaTac Airport is clear and things are back to normal. People trying to catch a plane yesterday found themselves in lines that snaked out at the terminal and into the parking garage. And despite 24 of 29 security gates being open, people say they were stuck in line for more than 2 hours. The airport says it was a combination of normal passengers and the end of cruise season, with nearly 4,000 cruise ship passengers arriving at each hour.
It was terrible this morning. People packed out the doors down the runway there.
Today's traffic at the airport was still heavy, but not nearly that long wait.
Well, the Vikings and the Eagles have arrived at Lincoln Financial Field. They're getting ready for kickoff at 5:30 tonight. You can watch that right here on ABC. And don't change the channel, because we'll be back with 4 News Now right after that game. Coming up, catastrophic damage across Puerto Rico. Hurricane Fiona making landfall Sunday as a Category 1 storm, devastating the island.
Britain prepares for a new era as it says final goodbyes to Queen Elizabeth II. That's coming up on 4 News Now.
4 News Now on your time with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
4 News Now is brought to you by BECU, supporting partners with families.
Sometimes people just want to disappear. But then there's people who make them disappear.
We're gonna find him. Damn right we are. Oh, come on, honey. Just nature, cycle of life.
I'm always walking after midnight.
I'm Mark Peterson. This summer, the Extreme Team and Horizon Credit Union ready to take on the next task. If you know of a project that needs an Extreme Team makeover, go to KXOY.com to nominate it. For News Now Extreme Team, brought to you by Horizon Credit Union.
When I was told I had a brain tumor, my life disappeared in a moment. I feared for my future, but even more, I feared for the ones I love. How would they move on without me? But when my doctor told me about the Gamma Knife of Spokane, everything changed. I can get my brain tumor treated in just one day and continue living the life I love. Because of Gamma Knife, I have hope.
It's time to jump back into the gym this week at all new fitness locations and see all the incredible new upgrades we've made to make our facilities the absolute best in the region.
And this week, to celebrate our 8-year anniversary, we're giving you one of the best special offers we've had in years, where you can join now for only $8.
How's your swimming skill?
I am a good swimmer.
What's your stroke?
What's my stroke? I mean, I freestyle.
That's a good one.
Next live, Billy Eichner.
Watch live tomorrow at 9, right after GMA.
The Tire Store for auto repairs, tires, and wheels. At the Tire Store, they'll let you split up your repair bill over a couple months. Get your car fixed today. ASC certified, and you can start an account with no credit check.
Tire Store.
An emotional end to the long goodbye. Britain always knew this day would come, but that did not make it any easier. Queen Elizabeth II was laid to rest this afternoon. Crowds lined the streets of London to watch the procession with the royal family and all parts of Britain's armed forces.
President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden were at the funeral with hundreds of dignitaries and heads of states from around the world. ABC's Faith Abube is in London with the latest.
Stirring scenes of British pageantry and royal tradition on full display for Queen Elizabeth's final goodbye. Bells from London to Windsor tolling through the Queen's funeral. The coffin met with a gun salute at Windsor Castle for that final mile to her resting place at St. George's Chapel. In London, members from every branch of Britain's military on hand for the rare state funeral. It began Monday morning at Westminster Hall. Pallbearers drawing the gun carriage with the Queen's flag-draped coffin, adorned with a wreath of flowers, the imperial crown, scepter, and orb. King Charles leading his siblings and his children in a royal procession behind the Queen's coffin to Westminster Abbey, the church where Queen Elizabeth was crowned as a monarch more than 70 years ago and where she was married. The Queen's great-grandchildren joining the procession inside the church, filled with about 2,000 mourners, including hundreds of dignitaries and heads of state. The grief of the royal family visible during the service. The King's eyes welling with tears while the choir sang, "God Save the King." Authorities estimate about 1 million well-wishers crowded central London streets to see the solemn event, some of them watching in mournful silence, others clapping in reverence.
That was the lump in the throat moment, I think, when the coffin came by and so slowly, and the family behind.
The emotional farewell to Queen Elizabeth II, capping 10 days of public mourning, where tens of thousands waited up to 24 hours in line to pay their final respect. Others camping out for days just to see this moment. Britain's longest reigning monarch now laid to rest. And after the public ceremony, the royal family participated in a private service and then laid Queen Elizabeth II down to rest next to her late husband, Prince Philip, at St. George's Chapel. A new era has now begun. In London, Faith Abube, ABC News.
And back here at home, we did get a little bit of rain this weekend. It's not much, but it's been a lot more than what we have seen around here over the past couple of months. We've got another chance for rain later on this week. We'll show you when you may have to take out the umbrella. Coming up.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
I'm attorney Matt Russell.
And I'm attorney Jim Hill.
And the two of us make Russell and Hill.
And we're out here on the streets of Spokane to find out if 2 really is better than 1.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. If you could have twice as much of something, would you take it?
Sure, yeah, of course.
Hi, if I offered you $1 or $2 bills, which would you take?
Definitely 2.
Definitely 2.
There you have it, folks. 2 is always better than 1.
Sir.
Russell and Hill. Choose 2.
How's your swimming skill?
I am a good swimmer.
What's your stroke?
What's my stroke? I mean, I freestyle.
That's a good one.
Next live, Billy Eichner.
Watch live tomorrow at 9, right after GMA.
Special Agent Simone Clark, FBI. It's my first day. I'm not 25. I gotta shine right out the gate. Not on my watch.
You promised not to get fired in the first 5 minutes, remember?
No.
Look out! FBI!
Show me your hand. It's okay. We got this. We're feds. Confident.
Wildfires can strike at any time. 4 News Now Fire Watch coverage keeps you safe on TV and on the go to protect your family.
Be on alert, there are flames.
That's what we mean when we say expect more.
At Riverview, we're not about retirement, but revitalization.
The people that work here are so compassionate.
I'm going to bring in some salmon. It'll be really good. Will you guys enjoy your lunch?
You talked them into trying it. Now let's do this. And when they're done, they're just truly amazed.
I feel so honored to be a part of such a great team.
You'll love living at Riverview Retirement Community. Schedule your tour today.
92.9 CCU.
With style and class, MeTV's Perry Mason represented the sleek 50s fashion, distinctive and suave. The truth never goes out of style on Perry Mason.
On MeTV 4.2.
4 News Now is brought to you by Ace Hardware.
Welcome back to 4 News Now. It has been a gorgeous Monday, really about the best weather you can ask for at this point in the year. Around the inland Northwest, we're sitting at 74 in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene at this hour. 80s in Lewiston. That's the only place, though, that's in the 80s. So, hey, pretty nice as we head out the door if you have anything going on for your evening. Here's how we're expecting kind of the important things to watch as we're heading over the next few days. Going to be cool and blustery tomorrow. Some dusty conditions possible as well and a very dry day. Mornings are going to have that bit of that autumn chill, even though the first day of fall, not until Thursday. And hey, for the first day of fall, we're also going to be talking about some rain. So that is going to be nice as well as we've really started to dry out around here. Temperatures by 9 o'clock falling into the 60s or getting down to the 40s tonight, and some places getting deep into the 30s. Take a look at this. 37 for Colville, 39 in Sandpoint. In some of those valley areas that are maybe a little bit sheltered from the north wind tonight, it might get cold enough where we see some little bit of patchy frost. Now, that's going to be areas north of Deer Park, north of Kootenai County, but certainly might want to, if you're watching us from Northeast Washington or from the far north Panhandle, might want to check those sensitive plants for tonight. Otherwise, comfortable in the 40s. Windy weather, that's going to be the story for tomorrow. You're definitely going to notice the blustery conditions, and it is going to be quite windy across the Columbia Basin. Gusts going to be into the 30s and coming down the Okanagan as well across the Waterville Plateau. So those areas in particular, they're going to be dry, it's going to be dusty, and it is going to be quite windy. And look, it'll be pretty windy as well, at times at least. This is Tuesday afternoon, and you can see gusts on the West Plains getting up to that 20, 25, 30 mile an hour range. So you'll definitely notice the wind. It should be more of an inconvenience, though, than anything else, with the exception of the areas I just mentioned, where it could get a little bit dusty. And we also, because of our low humidity, this is very dry air that's going to be coming in tomorrow. Combine that with the winds, Omak, Brewster, all the way up to Tenasket and Oroville. You are under a fire weather watch for tomorrow afternoon. And really everybody, even though we have cool temperatures, still need to be fire aware for tomorrow, just because a little windy weather That can always set something off, especially with how dry things have been around the area lately. And here are our highs for tomorrow, looking really, really nice. 72 in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. On the Palouse, 75 in Ritzville as well, and Winthrop in the Mahou Valley, nice and comfortable in the mid-70s. And yeah, that wind going to be blustery pretty much all day. If you're headed out to lunch tomorrow, temperatures in the 60s. Early morning risers, you'll get to enjoy those 40s temperatures, at least for a little bit. Now, I talked about that there was rain on the way. Here is when it is coming. We'll even see a couple of sprinkles late Wednesday night. Mostly this is going to be on Thursday, however. We'll dry out a little bit, but still going to be cloudy on Friday. Look at those temperatures in the 60s for the start of fall, and then a really nice weekend coming up. We'll go over the timing of that rain coming up later in the week in the next half hour.
Thank you, Matt. Well, a 7.6 magnitude earthquake struck just off the southwestern coast of Mexico. There are no known casualties or damage yet recorded in Mexico City. That's according to the mayor. The state of emergency is declared in Puerto Rico. At least one person has died in Hurricane Fiona that is slamming the island.
The hurricane making landfall Sunday afternoon, dumping more than 2 feet of rain, knocking out power on the island and causing widespread damage. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
Catastrophic damage across Puerto Rico. Hurricane Fiona making landfall Sunday as a Category 1 storm, bringing torrential rain of more than 2 feet in some parts of the island, along with wind gusts over 100 miles per hour. Trees and power lines knocked down. Julito Cirino says he was sleeping when the winds tore the roof off his house. Fiona is the third hurricane of the Atlantic hurricane season, sparking a flash flood emergency overnight across Puerto Rico, with one river rising 13 feet in just 1 hour. In one mountain town, rushing water washing away this newly constructed bridge built after Hurricane Maria. Watch as power poles and a guardrail connected to the bridge are ripped from the ground. Everything connected to the structure pulled downstream. The conditions leading to an island-wide blackout, more than 1.5 million without power.
What is your biggest concern right now for Puerto Rico? I don't want any loss of life here. Once that's taken care of, then restoring the electric service.
More than 1,000 people are in shelters right now across the island. The power company says it will be days before power is fully restored, with heavy rain still coming down. Much of the island is still under flash flood warnings. The hurricane is slowly moving out, making landfall early this morning in the Dominican Republic. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
$600 million of U.S. military aid is now on its way to Ukraine this week.
President Biden also sending a warning to Russia not to use certain weapons against Ukraine. A Russian missile attack in the southern region narrowly missed a nuclear power plant there. This is a different nuclear facility than one that has been repeatedly shelled, but this new attack blowing out over 100 of the plant's windows and shutting down some high voltage power lines. Meanwhile, in northeastern Ukraine, government investigators say they've discovered evidence of crimes against humanity in one newly liberated city. Reporters are seeing it firsthand.
The forensic team here have just removed the body of a man from one of the unmarked graves, and it's obvious that he had his hands tied behind his back.
Ukraine's prosecutor general says he's documented 34,000 potential war crimes since the war started and is mounting a genocide case against Russia. The Kremlin has rejected any accusations they've committed war crimes.
A new strategy to provide shelter to the homeless is sweeping the West Coast. Hear what it'll take for these to show up in our community. That's coming up.
And this dangerous intersection is set to have some safety improvements soon. See why the community is breathing a sigh of relief coming up on 4 News Now.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
You want to feel important, to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things.
We know. We felt that way too.
And that's why we joined the Army National Guard. Take on your legacy.
Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
If you are a person with a disability who needs an assistance animal, then you are protected under the Fair Housing Act. You have the right to request an assistance animal as a reasonable accommodation in housing. Assistance animals perform tasks or provide other assistance, such as emotional support. A landlord may not charge a pet deposit or fee or limit the breed or size of an assistance animal. If you have experienced housing discrimination, please contact Northwest Fair Housing Alliance.
Target bachelorettes.
The second we leave, they make their move.
It's the nation's top spot for bachelorette parties.
Burglars breaking in while the women are out on the town. Next, Inside Edition. Tonight at a special time.
You see the look on his face? Hilarious.
I know how you feel. Because I was right here.
My biggest fear was on that.
Always waiting for me.
But I knew I was never alone.
And I would get through it. Because people care.
So walk right in.
Get back on.
Step right up. And to everyone who sees anyone bullying, don't just watch. Act.
Together, we can put an end to bullying.
You can learn more at disney.com/choose-kindness.
Wildfires can strike at any time. 4 News Now Fire Watch coverage keeps you safe.
Where a brush fire has shut down Highway 195.
4 News Now, alerting you, delivering crucial information when and where you need it to protect your family.
Multiple fires burning right now in both Washington and Idaho.
Tell us about the state of the fire right now.
When every second counts, count on 4 News Now. On TV and on the go with the 4 News Now app. That's what we mean when we say, expect more.
4 News Now is brought to you by Wendell Motors.
The crossing between highways 292 and 395 is risky, and there have been quite a few bad car crashes in that intersection. Now safety improvements are underway for that area.
Emily Bloom is there to walk us through what a difference this 2-week project will make for that community. And Emily, this has been in the works for a few years now.
Yeah, Aaron, it has. Now, the community members that we spoke to today were just thrilled about this. If you take a look behind me here, you can see just how dangerous it is to pull out from the 292 onto the 395. Typically, cars are coming through here at over 60 miles per hour, and this is a major thoroughway for transport coming into and out of Canada. A local business owner tells us this will make the world of difference for him.
A huge impact. It's going to make it so much safer for us to get in and out of here. I mean, it's been so dangerous for so long.
Gail Hoskins owns Top Notch Tree Service and has been dealing with this intersection for years.
My family going through here, trying to get across. My mom's been hit on this intersection, my grandma, my uncle, so lots of friends.
It hits close to home, and he's been advocating since the beginning.
We're putting this in because this is one of the higher risk intersections here in Eastern Region.
This 2-week project could mean delays, but we're told it'll be well worth it. Overnight single lane closures will be in place Monday through Friday. Travelers could be delayed up to 20 minutes during the paving portion, and the intersection at Highway 292 will be closed completely for the next 2 weeks.
The intent of it is to reduce the severity and the frequency of crashes here at this intersection.
In addition to safety improvements, there will be more access getting across 365 for pedestrians, with 2 crosswalks going in as well.
A lot of community involvement asking for this roundabout, asking for these safety enhancements, and we're just really happy to be able to finally get it in.
Now, Loon Lake Pizza and Ice Cream, that's the business right there on the corner, they are closed for the next 2 weeks because of this construction. We spoke to that business owner. He told us that regardless, he's thrilled to see this go in, and he knows that it's going to be well worth it. Reporting live in Loon Lake, Emily Bloom, 4 News Now.
Coming up on 4 News Now, using pallet homes to house the homeless is a strategy sweeping the West Coast, but what would it take for them to come to Spokane? That's right after the break.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
For over 75 years, the Ennis family has strived to offer the finest furniture made from all over the world. The hallmark of this family-owned business is their custom-made leather furniture. Nobody offers a greater selection of leather choices or colors than Ennis. Simply the finest. And right now, all our custom leather is on sale. Stop by Ennis of Spokane today. Enjoy the savings and see the hundreds of leather choices we have to offer.
Flowers are fighters. That's why the Alzheimer's Association Walk to End Alzheimer's is full of them. Because flowers find a way to break through. Just like we will. Join the fight at alz.org/walk.
There's a new face in local news. Kirsten O'Connor joins Aaron Luna and Chris Crocker weeknights on 4 News Now. Committed to our community, invested in you and your family's safety. Get to know Kirsten O'Connor weeknights on 4 News Now.
Perry Mason made solving murder look good, and devoted Secretary Della Street embodied 50s fashion. The truth never goes out of style on Perry Mason.
Watch MeTV Spokane Coeur d'Alene on MeTV 4.2. 4 News Now's Mark Peterson.
Talking about gusty winds.
For 40 years, he has served our community. Journalist, weatherman.
Yeah, it's just hot.
Founder of the 4 News Now Extreme Team.
To our first edition of Extreme Team, and there is your new Kinderhaven. 2, 3.
You guys rock. We are so appreciative.
To the 127 kids that are currently in the hospital, we hope you feel better. We hope this helps. We've done it, and did we do good?
Now that service has been recognized by the Silver Circle, a special Emmy Award for broadcasting's best and brightest.
We're rebuilding your fields!
One of Mark's mentors told him the goal of being a good broadcaster is to leave your community better than you found it. Congratulations, Mark. You did it.
A vote on camping on city property is happening in just over an hour as part of combating Spokane's homeless issue. Sending people to a shelter is one option, and we are now learning more about another resource that's now sweeping the West Coast, including here in Washington, using pallet homes to house the homeless. It's an idea that we've been hearing about here in Spokane as the homeless population continues to grow. We've learned last week that many people at Camp Hope are staying there in hopes that they might secure a housing in a pallet home.
But what would it take to bring those to our community to assist the homeless? KXLY's Jordan Smith joins us in studio now to break it all down. Jordan?
Well, Kirsten, the short answer is this idea would take a lot of time, money, and land to develop, particularly if you're looking to house all 1,800 homeless individuals currently living in Spokane County. And it's an idea that's showing some promising results in helping the homeless get back on their feet, but it's one that hasn't quite made its way to Spokane, at least not yet. During our time at Camp Hope last week, we learned that many are hesitant to leave the state's largest encampment for a shelter because they might miss out on securing a tiny home. As a result, very few have ventured to the nearby Trent Resource Center.
Yeah, over the course of the last 2 weeks, we've had 38 individuals indicate that they came here from Camp Hope.
38 of the camp's 650 plus, many hoping for a better alternative.
At Pallet, we envision a world where no one goes unsheltered.
Lisa Edge is with Pallet, one of several companies that develop tiny homes as a way to combat homelessness.
So inside, there's a bed, there's shelving, there's storage for your personal possessions.
The house comes with a locked door, heating and air conditioning, and the ability to keep your pet with you, a perk most traditional shelters don't allow. Each village is also equipped with bathrooms, showers, and laundry on site.
We've got nearly 100 active villages across the country.
Several of those are set up here in Washington, in places like Seattle and Vancouver, and they're showing promising results. In Vancouver, Washington, since the village opened 6 months ago, 46 residents have been served through pallet housing. 14 have been able to transition to more stable housing. Another 32 have accessed health care. Pallet has been able to assist communities across the country. Their largest village is 177 homes located in Chico, California. So what would it take to bring this idea to Spokane? More specifically, what would it cost? The smallest pallet home is 64 square feet and costs $7,500. To house each individual of Camp Hope, that total cost would run $4.8 million. And because the company can only manufacture 50 homes per week out of their Everett-based factory, it would take about 13 weeks before each home could be completed. 36 weeks if you were looking to house the entire homeless community of nearly 1,800 in Spokane County. Neither the city nor the DOC have plans to invest in any projects related to pallet villages at this point in time. It's not to say this money isn't available for a project like this, but right now, nonprofits are assessing the current needs of people living at Camp Hope and then deciding the best way to proceed that would benefit everyone. Reporting in studio, I'm Jordan Smith, 4 News Now.
Taking a look live over Spokane. Stadium construction seems to be going pretty well, and our weather's been going pretty well so far this week as well. The skies cleared out after a few sprinkles last night, and it has been a beautiful Monday around the inland Northwest. Now, we're starting to turn our focus here in the Weather Center towards some windy conditions that we're going to experience tonight and tomorrow. And in fact, it is already going. Look at that. It's pretty gusty in Omak and across the Okanagan Highlands at this hour. And that's one area we are going to be watching over the next 24 hours to see some windy conditions and perhaps even some fire weather conditions. But everyone is going to be fairly windy as we head into tomorrow. Otherwise, pretty nice weather for this evening. Temperatures in the 70s right now will fall into the 60s as we head towards, say, 8 o'clock or so. Sun setting before 7 o'clock now as we get ready for the first day of fall. Heading for tomorrow, seasonal temperatures 72. It's 1 degree below our average for this time of the year. Windy weather and a little bit of blowing dust across the Columbia Basin. So it will be on the windy side, and that's one reason why fire weather watch is in place for places like Omak, Oroville, Tenasket, all the way down to Brewster along the Okanagan River. So that is what we're going to be watching as far as the wind. We're also watching for a chance for some rain. So if you're just joining us, I'll take you through our timeline as far as when we could get some rain in your neighborhood coming up.
Matt, thank you. Well, a one-time opportunity for Spokane's first suburb. A group of Cannon Hill neighbors say they want to preserve the beautiful architecture there. Homeowners will decide if the neighborhood will become a historic district, and ballots were recently mailed out.
Our Vanessa Perez has what the historic title will bring to the neighborhood.
The Cannon Hill District is rich in its history, and neighbors here are looking to preserve this for generations to come. Old trees and historic homes line the neighborhood. Abel and Melissa bought their Cannon Hill home 2 years ago.
What we're trying for is your children and your children's children will have that feeling. Now I'm getting all... Are you getting choked? I am. Will have that same feeling when they walk through the neighborhood.
Neighbors know more people will move in, and they want to keep the current feel alive.
The effort's really about, look, if you're going to build a new structure, that's great. It just needs to try and fit in with what's already here.
The historic title applies to over 500 homes within the district. Supporters say it protects structures but doesn't put up red tape. Changes to exteriors facing the street would undergo review. It doesn't regulate fencing, landscaping, garages, structures, or paint colors.
Really, I think we've heard a lot of support. Some folks have said, you know, they don't support it. They don't want the public-facing facade potentially to be subject to a design review. And hey, that's totally fine.
If passed, it'll apply to all new building permits and homes built before 1955. The committee needs 50% plus 1 to receive a vote from City Council. You have until November 15th to return those ballots and decide if Cannon Hill becomes the next historic district. Reporting in Spokane, Vanessa Perez, 4 News Now.
Public health crisis just waiting to happen. That's how the Food and Drug Administration commissioner described nicotine gummies when it comes to our nation's youth. In a warning letter to one of the companies that makes nicotine gummies, the FDA says the products are being sold illegally. The company website for VPR brand says the products are for adults. The gummies have been discontinued, but other companies may be appealing to kids with other candy-looking nicotine products. In a recent study, about 10% of 9th and 10th graders surveyed reported use of e-cigarettes. Health experts say parents should be aware and talk to their children about the dangers.
Nausea, vomiting, changes in blood pressure, seizure, coma, and even death. Not to mention that nicotine is addictive and also can affect the growing brain in terms of potentially causing learning and memory problems.
The American Lung Association has criticized the FDA, saying the gummies were on the market for half a year before the agency sent its warning letter. A spokesperson for the organization says it's a sign that there will probably be many more kid-friendly nicotine products to come. A new report from the CDC has found more than 80% of pregnancy-related deaths in the U.S. are preventable.
And the report highlights the need for healthcare professionals and the public to be more aware of complications that can happen during and after pregnancy. The leading underlying causes for pregnancy-related deaths are mental health conditions, excessive bleeding, cardiac conditions, and infection. College sports fans can get a little out of hand at times. Tonight, the University of Oregon is apologizing to BYU for an anti-Mormon chant from Duck fans during Saturday's football game in Eugene. Oregon tweeted out it sincerely apologizes for the offensive and disgraceful chant and says there's no place for hate, bias, or bigotry in the campus community. A university official says the incident will be investigated.
The Washington State Cougars are coming off their best performance of the season, but will they have their hands full this coming weekend? Coming up in sports, Alex Crescenti has more on an Oregon offense that has surprised many.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
With My Freddy's Rewards, it's easy to get lower than low prices for the win. You also earn fuel points on every purchase to save big at the pump. My Freddy's Rewards. All you do is win big, big savings. Fred Meyer, fresh for everyone.
You already know that free Camus Rewards let you earn and redeem points everywhere at Northern Quest. But did you know that everywhere includes the all-new East Pan Asian cuisine and Neon Pizza? Plus, you'll enjoy our new weekday happy hour from 3 to 6 p.m. You'll even save 10 cents a gallon at our Kalispell Chevrons. And new Camus Rewards members can win up to $2,022 in reward play instantly. Only at Northern Quest. Yes, the best.
Next, ET, Queen Elizabeth II laid to rest. We're on the ground in London for her historic funeral, our royal look back on the Queen who reigned over pop culture. Next, ET.
Tonight at a special time.
Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade, plus Journey Smollett. First of all, I'm in love with your outfit, your body, your hair, your base, everything. I want a picture of you by my treadmill.
Watch Kelly tomorrow at 4 and 4 News Now at 5.
What if you had to choose between fixing the roof over your head and putting food on the table? What if that leak led to mold growing in your home? What if that meant you could not focus on finding a new job, or your children could no longer focus on learning? What if you no longer had a safe place to call home? Help Rebuilding Together make emergency repairs for our neighbors who have lost jobs and have to make those difficult choices. Text REBUILD to 484848.
With the Fred Meyer app, no matter where you order free pickup, you get the same great deals as you'd get in our stores. So start your cart today. Fred Meyer, fresh for everyone.
4 News Now is brought to you by Coeur d'Alene Nissan.
The Red Planet has caught the eye of NASA's newest space telescope. James Webb Telescope captured these images of Mars, and scientists say they reveal a unique perspective on the planet. Are you ready, Aaron?
I'm ready.
They hope to capture the planet's seasonal changes, dust, some storms, maybe dust storms even, and weather. We love talking about weather on different planets because we're kind of caught up with the weather of our own planet,
So
right?
you know, if you know the weather on Mars, you can prepare for what to wear when you're there.
Yeah, you know, giant dust devils, occasional snowstorms, lots of dust. It's fun.
It's fascinating.
Hey, you know, Brad Pitt had to know about Martian weather for the movie there. So
Wait. Brad Pitt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which movie you're talking about? The Martian? Because that was Matt Damon.
Oh, was that Matt Damon?
Ha-ha!
Oh, no. No,
Gotcha.
what have I done?
Gotcha.
No.
I agreed with you, Matt. They're both good-looking guys. It's hard to remember.
You know,
totally different.
They really have similar haircuts most of the time, to my defense. All right, let's talk about some dust back here at home. 70s and beautiful and a little hazy as well as you look towards the rapidly setting sun in Spokane. And we've had a little bit more haze today. We've had some southerly winds over the weekend. That brought up a little bit of smoke from the south. We've also seen a little bit more fire activity in the Cascades than we did just a couple of days ago. So we're down to moderate air quality in Wenatchee. Coeur d'Alene's been back and forth between green and yellow. And we've been seeing some issues as well around the Camas Prairie. Now, winds coming out of the north, changing tonight and tomorrow. That should blow any smoke and haze out of our area. So improving air quality as we head into tonight and tomorrow. It's going to be cool, comfortable. It may not be fall until Thursday, but it feels like fall already. We're down into the 40s around the region tonight. And in fact, in a few sheltered valleys, sheltered away from the wind, as you head, say, north of Deer Park, north of Spirit Lake, you can even see a little bit of patchy frost down on the ground. Temperatures in the middle and upper 30s, certainly a possibility now that we're getting down to that point in the year. Windy weather as we go through the afternoon. Again, tomorrow, we're talking about 15 to 17 mile an hour winds or so. So you'll definitely notice the blusteriness. Gusts will get into the 20s around Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. Gusts will get up into the 30s around places like Moses Lake. And that's where we could see a little bit of blowing dust since we are in the kind of the post-harvest time frame. A lot of loose soil out there. As we go through the day, nice temperatures, 60s at lunchtime, low 70s for the afternoon. That's about average for this time of the year. So we've been running a little bit warm. We'll cool down for at least one day before we start to rise up again for Wednesday. So there you go, 72 Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, 80s for Lewiston, 76 in Omak where we had that fire weather watch. Hopefully that does not progress to a warning. And then we end up at 77 in Moses Lake for your Tuesday. Overall, should be a pretty nice day. Not so nice as we get later on into the week, and that is because the storm system brought us just a little bit of rain over the weekend. Well, it's going to curve back up to the north and head right over us. So let's go through your 4-day forecast. Simulated radar. We're chugging along. Here's Wednesday night. LC Valley starting to see some rain coming up from the south. Here is the early morning hours of Thursday, so likely waking up to rain in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. You want to break out the rain jacket for the start of the day. By lunchtime, Eastern Washington's pretty much done with this. We're still seeing some light rain all the way into the Silver Valley and around Kootenai County. By the end of the day, things are looking good. And there is a weather whiplash after this as well, because once this storm passes us by, high pressure takes over again. And we're going to get warm, in fact, unseasonably warm as we head into our first official week of fall. Look at this. We'll be up to 80 degrees by this time next week. So it looks like we have one more warm spell, at least one more, before we can finally settle into fall weather, probably in October. Guys?
Thank you, Matt. Well, more buses carrying dozens of migrants are arriving in Democratic-led cities. The crisis leaving those cities scrambling to find resources and shelter.
And now in Massachusetts, authorities want a federal human trafficking investigation into what it calls, quote, inhumane acts by DeSantis and others. ABC's Morgan Norwood has more.
The immigration showdown reaching a tipping point as Texas Governor Greg Abbott and other Republican leaders send migrant buses and flights to Democratic-led sanctuary cities, continuing to stir a political fight. New York Mayor Eric Adams on This Week, sounding the alarm after several migrant buses arrived over the weekend. Adams asking for coordination with the federal government and Governors Greg Abbott and Ron DeSantis. All of this as he says an asylum seeker died by suicide in a New York City shelter on Sunday.
This is an American crisis that we need to face.
Governor Greg Abbott's office says that he has sent nearly 11,000 migrants from Texas to Chicago, New York, and Washington. Mayor Muriel Bowser warning cities across the country to get prepared.
This is a national issue, and the nation's mayors need to be prepared.
Meanwhile, Governor Baker of Massachusetts says reform is the best remedy. His outcry comes as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis takes credit for the surprise migrant drop-offs on Martha's Vineyard.
I've been urging Republicans and Democrats in Washington to get together and to pass meaningful immigration reform. It's not a secret to anyone that our immigration system is broken.
And it's evident on the ground in Texas. El Paso's mayor claiming claiming the surge at the border resulted in nearly 2,000 new migrants and asylum seekers per day, most from Venezuela. El Paso swelling beyond its limits, the mayor saying the city has no choice but to bus migrants elsewhere. But at least they're trying to communicate with leaders in those destinations.
The people are not coming to El Paso, they're coming to America. I mean, we talk to them, we say, where do you want to go? What's your destination?
And there have been more than 1.8 million migrant apprehensions along the U.S. southern border so far this fiscal year, with Republican governors saying the administration system is broken. Meanwhile, the White House says it's surging resources to the area. I'm Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Stream 4 News now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
With dentures from Aspen Dental, all they'll see is your confident smile. How do we do it? We provide exceptional care all in one place, and our denture experts craft natural-looking dentures right in our in-office labs, because we'll do anything to make sure your smile looks like your smile. Right now, get $400 off a full denture arch. We can even get started today. Aspen Dental, anything to make you smile. Schedule your complimentary denture consultation now.
When I was told I had a brain tumor, my life disappeared in a moment. I feared for my future, but even more, I feared for the ones I love. How would they move on without me? But when my doctor told me about the Gamma Knife of Spokane, everything changed. I can get my brain tumor treated in just one day and continue living the life I love. Because of Gamma Knife, I have hope.
Off the clock? And you're relaxing in that old thing?
Come on, it's a little duct tape. It's good to go.
Well, right now, you can score amazing comfort that's built to last with savings up to 50% during the extended Labor Day sale at Furniture Row. Shop today, because the more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend. Plus 4 years, no interest.
You had me at comfort.
But don't wait. The extended Labor Day sale at Furniture Row ends soon.
Live with Kelly and Ryan just kicked off a new season.
Give me an N.
N-E-W. W. Daytime's #1 talk show is bringing you more laughs.
E-A.
More stars. And more of whatever this is.
Give me an N.
N.
You know what we should do? Watch Live with Kelly and Ryan every weekday morning. Now, ready?
Give me a W.
The new season of Kelly and Ryan on 4 News Now.
4 News Now, brought to you by Morningstar Boys Ranch and their annual fundraiser, Caring for Kids.
The Washington State Cougars are coming off their best-looking performance of the season, beating Colorado State 37-7 on Saturday afternoon to wrap up the non-conference portion of their schedule. And it was a battle for this team to even get to 3-0, but the schedule doesn't get any easier as they welcome in the 15th-ranked Oregon Ducks this coming weekend, who are a bit of an enigma this season. The Ducks opened up their season by getting absolutely pummeled by Georgia, managing just 3 points all day long and less than 315 yards of total offense, which is crazy because when you think of Oregon, you associate them with the best offense in the country. But then they follow it up with 2 weeks later, a throttling of BYU. So it's tough to say how good this team actually is. What they are good at, however, is protecting the quarterback. The offensive line hasn't given up a sack all season long, and Washington State head coach Jake Dickert is impressed with how they've been able to keep QB Bo Nix upright all season long.
So they've actually had a lot of different pieces in and out of the lineup through 3 games up front. But, yeah, a lot of short, intermediate quicks when they plan to take their shots down the field. They get a lot of max protection. So it's getting the ball out of his hands, but it's also a quarterback that's confident in this scheme and knows where he wants to go. And they're giving him some clean reads, and he's getting the ball out and letting their playmakers make plays in space. So definitely a combination, but even a stat I didn't know. But, you know, they've been keeping them clean, and I think it's a combination of how good they they are and what they're trying to do offensively.
And it'll be yet another day game for the Cougs as they will kick off from Martin Stadium at 1 on Saturday afternoon. And coming out of this weekend, the Seattle Mariners were not in a good place. Losers of 3 straight, and their best hitter, Eugenio Suarez, going down with an injury. The team might literally be limping to the end of the regular season, but today a chance to salvage their series against the Angels. And the Mariners offense got right to it. In the top of the first, All-Star Ty France lines a ball into left field corner. J.P. Crawford is going to hustle all the way from first base as he slides in safely, and it's 1-0 Mariners. But it would turn out they wouldn't need a whole lot of offense in this one because Logan Gilbert was dealing. In the second, he gets Mike Ford swinging to strike out the side. He would go 6 innings, only giving up 1 run on 4 hits and striking out 11 batters. Now, we mentioned not a whole lot of offense today, but not the need for offense today, but Carlos Santana did not get that memo in the 5th with the bases loaded. He'll send this ball out of the park for the grand slam, his 18th home run on the season, and Seattle starting to pull away in this one. But just for good measure, in the 7th, Ty France will send this one to dead center for the 3-run home run, and the M's piling it on now as they get their offense going in the last game of the series and take this one 9-1 down in Anaheim. Seattle still in that last wild card spot, but currently holds a 4.5 game lead over Baltimore, so that's the good news. The team will now start a 3-game series out in Oakland starting tomorrow. 4 News Now, we'll be right back.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
It's time to jump back into the gym this week at all new fitness locations and see all the incredible new upgrades we've made to make our facilities the absolute best in the region.
And this week, to celebrate our 8-year anniversary, we're giving you one of the best special offers we've had in years, where you can join now for only $8.
For over 75 years, the Ennis family has strived to offer the finest furniture made from all over the world. The hallmark of this family-owned business is their custom-made leather furniture. Nobody offers a greater selection of leather choices or colors than Ennis. Simply the finest. And right now, all our custom leather is on sale. Stop by Ennis of Spokane today. Enjoy the savings and see the hundreds of leather choices we have to offer.
4 News Now's Mark Peterson.
Talking about gusty winds.
For 40 years, he has served our community. Journalist, weatherman.
Yeah, it's just hot, hot, hot.
Founder of the 4 News Now Extreme Team.
To our first edition of Extreme Team, and there is your new Kinderhaven. 2, 3.
You guys rock. We are so appreciative.
To the 127 kids that are currently in the hospital, we hope you feel better. We hope this helps. We've done it, and did we do good?
Now that service has been recognized by the Silver Circle, a special Emmy Award for broadcasting's best and brightest.
We're rebuilding your fields.
One of Mark's mentors told him the goal of being a good broadcaster is to leave your community better than you found it. Congratulations, Mark. You did it.
Special Agent Simone Clark, FBI. It's my first day. I'm not 25. I gotta shine right out the gate. Not on my watch.
You promised not to get fired in the first 5 minutes, remember?
No.
Look out! FBI!
Show me your hand. It's okay. We got this. We're feds. Confident.
Looking at some really nice weather for the next couple of days. You'll definitely notice the wind tomorrow